Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anthony, and welcome back to another Supersonic page turner. This time we will be going through issues 33 through 40. But before that, I'd like to introduce my co-host.
Yo, what, this is Tom.
Okay. And before we start with the our batch of 8 issues, we have to take a little detour for Sonic the Comic, the holiday special, 1993. No, wait, 1994. Sorry, and it's so the holiday specials are just kind of that. They're little summer issues that came out with a bunch of small stories inside. In this case, I believe were there two more before this one that were just recaps or
Nah, I think this no, this is the first one. I think the first
okay.
holiday special at least. But
Okay.
there was also the poster books.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of the poster books. Um,
Yeah,
and the poster books are just that. They're just a lot of them are just cover arts or just character art that's posted on a giant page, you know. So you can hang it
there
up
are a
like a
few
poster.
with stories.
A few.
Um, very interesting stories, but we'll get to that in the future.
Oh yeah. God. But for this one, for the holiday special, there are about three stories that go on here. One is split into two parts, and one is important for the setup of our batch, and the last one is just kind of a fun one to go through. We will be focusing on the first story, which is Dr. Sun. So we open with, well, first off, let's talk about the cover art for this. It's nice. It really is nice. This
Nice
is
picture of Sonic jumping forward, Botnik. You see all the badniks.
oh yeah, this is definitely one of Richard Elson's better works, and it's only really early on, so we'll definitely see a lot more of that. Um, but as
As far as the cover, probably one of the best.
oh yeah, definitely. There's just so much going on, but it's not it's not cluttered. I guess that's the best way of saying it.
Yeah, it keeps Sonic as the main focus. The line that he jumps off keeps your eye since he's in the center.
Hmm.
Center, it gives you, and his arms give you a good place to wander off into the other stuff.
Yep. And then you could follow. You could see in the back. You could see the smoke trail from the Eggmobile from Doctor Robotnik, and just follow that, and you can see how he's chasing Sonic.
Yeah, it gets very circular. That's a good way to put it. If you follow the smoke trail, it leads from his bad necks, and you see Sonic's running trail. It's a very circular composition,
Hmm.
almost like a spiral that leads you back into Sonic.
Or a spin dash. Not kidding. But yeah, it's really good. I just can't really look away from it. It's just really nice. I mean, what can you really say? But
Yep.
anyways, we should move on. And we open with our first story, Dr. Sun, Part 1. We open with a blindfolded badger being kicked into the secret hideout on Emerald Hill by Johnny Lightfoot. And meanwhile, Sonic is having his lunch. And the badger reveals that his son um, has been enlisted by this weird cult and he doesn't know where he is. Sonic saying, being the ever lovable person, saying, "Hey, does this base look like a missing persons bureau?" Kind of a dick move, but Sonic accepts the request anyways because he's heard some nasty rumors about this Doctor Sun guy. So, a quick flash of the signpost later, and they end up in the Mystic Cave Zone. Our first time seeing this zone. It's a lot less green than the games.
Are
They
you
come up,
sure? Oh,
yeah.
sorry, Eureka.
I mean, well, if you want to dispute, yeah. I mean, I don't think we've seen the Mystic Cave Zone.
Oh, no. Maybe I'm just, no, that's Labyrinth Zone I'm confusing it with.
Oh, you mean the one where we barely saw anything?
Yeah, that's what I'm confusing it with.
Yeah. But enough about issue 5. Um, we have Sonic and Tails running across Carltons, flashers, um, disappearing bridges, spike traps, and everything. Um, Tails happens to save Sonic, but they end up in a little spike trap issue. Sonic tries to rush towards the pulley to get them out, but the spikes are electrocuting. The spikes are electrifying on top, so Sonic can't use them as stepping stones. It's up to Tails to save both of them, but Tails, being dazed from hitting his head against the ceiling, manages to find his way up and saves the both of them. Afterwards, they were revealed to the mysterious Dr. Sun character, who seems to be a joyful man who is creating a safe haven
Well, yep,
for.
cult.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying I was gonna use what he said, but he's creating a safe haven for the residents of Mobius against the tyrannical Dr. Robotnik. Sonic um Sonic confronts him and asks him for um the child of Stripes, and he Dr. Sun goes up to the child and asks him, "Do you want to leave here?" Seemingly has no problem with him leaving or going, but the child doesn't want to leave, and Sonic is and because of that, Doctor Sun decides to give them a tour of his safe domain hidden within the Mystic Cave Zone. As they look through, they see that there is a reading room full of comics, a recreation room, a rec room filled with video games, and finally the inner sanctum, and that only the most um, committed of Doctor Sun's passionate group can enter. Sonic is Sonic's like, no thanks. We've got to stop it. We got to stop an evil dictator first. Um, and Tails asks him, as they're leaving, Tails asks him, what about Mr. Stripe's son? Sonic says, it's pretty safe here already. You know, there's not much we could do. And besides, if the kid doesn't want to leave, we can't drag him out. But Sonic notices a particular verbal tick of the of the seemingly nice Doctor Sun. He says the whenever he has to bring up a word that has ex in it, he says egg exactly. Instead of exactly, he says exactly. And Sonic only knows of one man that does that. So he goes and strips down Doctor Sun, and it's revealed to be Doctor Robotnik underneath. He makes a run for the inner sanctum area, and it's revealed that inside the room is a giant pillar of machinery that will roboticize the residents of Emerald Hill. Robotnik gets in his eggmobile and starts to attack Sonic, and he explains that this was his smoothest operation yet, and Sonic has ruined his plans once again. Sonic goes and fights Robotnik, knocks him out of his eggmobile, takes it for a little test flight, and rams it right into the machinery. The whole place is going up in smoke, and Sonic escorts all of the residents or the cult members out of the base while it goes up in flames.
Hey, let's talk. First thing, the art. Uh, um,
It's a little weird.
it's rough.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem is the coloring. Like the coloring's like this airbrush kind of thing that like has it's like sort of like this airbrush thing they're going on. They try to add texture to characters, but just makes things look really flat.
Yeah, because if it doesn't work if you're using it for shading.
Yeah,
It's
especially when I try to act this highlight to everybody.
Yeah, it really brings up how light everything is.
Yeah, the actual drawings, at least from looking at it, I haven't seen the original pencils. They look fine.
Hmm.
Cave, you see Mr. Cave Stone looks very different. than what I remember.
Yeah.
At least it's a cave.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they do at least have the traps and the badniks inside, but the Mystic Cave Zone is supposed to be more of a mm, dilapidated.
Mystical.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be more of a dilapidated green um cave work with mines inside. And this isn't too far off. It's just if you replace the brown with green, I would it would seem a lot more convincing.
Yeah, also the brown really I get it's a cave, but we've seen brown before that's a little bit more interesting than this brown.
Yeah.
From the little we see of Mix's Cave Zone until we get to Doctor Sun. But yeah, not the best, but again, never the worst. Nothing has beaten issue 5.
Nothing will ever beat the half-ass that is Labyrinth Zone.
Yeah, no, I don't think anything in this comic will. Especially moving forward, where they start to get more consistent.
Hmm.
Yeah, onto the story. Unless you have more to say.
Not really, no.
So Doctor Sun is creepy as shit.
Yeah, he is. He
Like that panel in part 2 where you see him smile,
yeah,
like, and you see
it's
like that weird smile. It's
it's
just like
it's a little creepy.
it's creepy as shit. I felt more uncomfortable than I liked him. I liked it better when he was revealed to be Robotnik. Actually, second page of part 2 emphasized what I mean. Like you see all this brown. Like I can see the textures that they're trying to do, but like you see the brown of it mixed in with the dark thing. It's kind of doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
You see his place, which is just like looks like a house door, honestly.
Yeah, not only
But
that, there's no shading on the house at all. Like it's just flat.
yeah, and the little we see inside, we don't really see much. It's kind of like walls, plays. I don't know, you could have pizzazz it up a little. This place is supposed to look like the greatest place ever. But yeah. Oh, also the story wise, I love that cults exist in the in this Sonic universe. This is a term. There's been other examples of this.
Hmm.
It's just a funny thing. Um, Also another thing weird. All the cult members look really sad. I thought it was going to be like a mind control type thing, but it isn't.
No,
They all
they all seem very somber or like just out of it.
Yeah, when I was reading, I thought there was like some kind of mind control thing going on, or like there was like people who knew about it. But no, if they knew about it, it would have escaped. But none of them knew about it. But they all seem so sad.
Yeah, it's weird. I wonder if it's because like they're probably rotting their brains just being underground, playing video games and reading comics. That's it.
I thought it was supposed to be like a cult mentality, like it was going to do something like the idea of a cult, and there's like an in group, and the cult's not as happy as it seems. But from what I gathered from Eggman's plan, at least, the cult is supposed to be like the best place ever until you get to the roboticizing part. And he
Yeah.
even said that people were just lining up to go there. But from the actual art, it just looks like everyone's just sad.
Yeah, it's
And
weird.
there's the blue robes.
What's
The
interesting
video game.
is Yeah, what's interesting is that even though it's revealed to be Robotnik afterwards, he didn't have an issue with letting Mr. Stripe's kid leave. So that's weird.
Pretty sure he thought, well, if he didn't let him leave, it would be a little bit more suspicious.
Yeah.
Plus, he could get some more with his plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, his machine that could like turn people into badniks, very much like a roboticizer, to be honest.
It's
Wonder,
basically robotization.
yeah, except you're just in a machine, you can be saved pretty easily.
Actually, you're not even in the
Uh,
you're not in a machine. You're just if you look back at it, they're just strapped around it.
yeah, I mean, like you're in the badnik, so you can still get like taken out of
Oh,
it,
yeah.
unless it's like his thing that he was trying to do with Amy, with a badnik that you can't unchange, which he never comes back up again. I
Yeah.
guess Robotnik was like, dang, I only had one of those.
Damn
Did you
it!
make notes, sir? I never make notes.
The technology would have been perfected on Little Planet. What happened to Little Planet? Uh,
Well, you wouldn't remember because Sonic changed time.
you're right.
Be like, dang, if only I had this sooner. But yeah, see, but yeah, that trap floor door, that was pretty good. Honestly, if he didn't put his own, I guess that's there for him, but why would he put it over the trap? Honestly, if that thing wasn't there, he would have killed Sonic.
Yeah,
That was an actual good trap.
I guess it was just a
But
basic defense because he didn't expect anyone to be there. And
yeah,
besides, I'm pretty sure once it activates, it's just gonna close, and there's no way to open it unless you hit the pulley.
maybe the pulley was the second part of the trap. Like it's closed, and then you just see the pulley, and you're supposed to like pull it down, and it opens automatically to kill you.
Mm,
It makes sense. Also, Tails, you could have just pulled Sonic upwards. I guess he's too heavy, but he's pulled him over things that are a bit higher. At least from what this comic is giving me from the height, I don't really have a good idea of how tall this thing is.
I don't know either, but I guess it's because Tails is dazed throughout the entire time, and he's barely. It looks like he's barely flying straight.
Yeah. Also, some of the composition could have been a little better. Like when Tails hit his head the first time, I was so confused. I was like, "What hit him?" But then I had to look in the corner, like, "Oh, I guess there's a rock there."
Yeah, he just hit the ceiling, but it looks like someone
Yeah,
just
I
threw
know.
a rock at him.
Yeah, but I feel like you could have I could have made a different angle for that
Oh no,
to
I
better
agree.
see the rock part.
Yeah, I agree. It's just from how it looks though, it looks like someone threw a rock at Tails and dropped Sonic.
Yeah. Honestly, this was a good plan by Robotnik.
Oh yeah, like he said, it was the smoothest operation yet. He
You
was
can't
proud of it.
work it twice.
Oh
Yeah, it
no,
can't never work twice.
yeah, because now people are going to be hesitant about the cult thing now.
Yeah, but it was a good idea.
Hey
Honestly, if he
kids,
didn't use himself, it would have worked.
yeah. Hey kid, you want to join a cult?
Yeah, if he would have just hired a human or made it a robot that didn't have his verbal tick, he could have totally won.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least Sonic would have left. But yeah, Dr. Sun, it was okay.
It was a pretty good story. I liked it. Um,
Yeah.
but let's move on because we still got a couple more in here. We move on to Dr. Robotnik's test drive. Deep within the special stage, I mean the special stage zone. Yeah, I think it's just called special zone. Deep within the special zone on the Death Egg, um, Dr. Robotnik and Grimer um, are deep within a lab. Grimer has presented a new flying machine to Robotnik, and Robotnik is really proud of it. He likes it. He really likes it. But Grimer warns him, don't use the mega attack lever. It still has a few bugs with it. And Robotnik says, I want to try it, and I don't care. And Grimer sets up a sonic dummy. Robotnik goes and crushes it underneath the hammer. But he points out that the attack is at the attack, but the display was a little boring. It could use a bit more effort. So he moves it to Grimer so that he could get a moving target. And he chases Grimer down with a hammer. Grimer escapes to the lab, and we see our first instance of a just normal human. Just a
Well,
straight
no,
up.
it's not. Remember Robotnik's image consultant?
Yeah, but no, this guy is proportioned like a normal human being.
This image consultant was human looking.
No, no, no. He was human looking, yeah, but he saw that cartoony proportions to him. This
Yeah,
guy, this
I get.
lab, fellow lab assistant guy is just straight up a human being, and proportions and everything, like an accurate human.
Yeah, I guess I have to relook at it, but yeah, he's definitely just a normal person,
Yep.
which reinforced. I don't understand why Sonic was confused when he was Sonic the Human.
Yeah, that's weird. But Robotnik corners Grimer and threatens him with the Mega Attack. Um, but Grimer warns him that he really shouldn't use it. Robotnik he calls him out, calling him don't be so girly. It's only hurt for a minute, and he uses the attack. However, because it's still in a working phrase, it reels back way too hard to attack Grimer. But because it reels back so hard, it ends up hitting Robotnik, smashing him through the machine onto the floor. And Grimer checks if he's okay, but Robotnik, well, he's got a bit of a flat top on his head, and he might need to lie down for a bit.
But yeah, um, the art in this story way better than the last one. Pretty good.
Yep. They gave Robotnik white eyes though, and I'm sorry, not eyes, cilias. I think that's what they're called. The colored area around your eyes.
Sometimes, yeah, in some shots they do. Sometimes they're the normal black.
Black or
I
red.
mean, normal red,
Yeah.
black and red. So
It
maybe
might.
this will be like
Oh, go ahead.
continue.
Oh, I was
I
gonna
was gonna
say
say maybe this would be like Sonic's legs, and then it
no.
just forgets him.
No. The Sonic's legs thing was consistent throughout the entire issue. This one it goes back
No,
and
there was
forth.
also that one issue where it happened for one panel.
Oh yeah, you're right. I keep thinking of the one that guy purposely did it.
Yeah,
But no, it's very clear that it's kind of an error because it jumps back
yeah.
and forth between pages.
No. I read something. Turns out the Nigel was asked about what Grimer was. He says he wasn't sure, but he imagined him as some sort of lizard, reptile. So apparently that's what he is.
I guess. I mean the sickly green skin, his
Yeah,
hair,
but he
his
just said he imagined him as some.
I guess. I mean you can kind of see with his
Uh,
hair, his hair is spiked in the back and looks like frills from a lizard.
yep. Well, we do see one of his family members in the future. Maybe we can base it off of that.
Oh, I look forward to that. But
Yeah. This machine Robotnik uses. Does he have something similar to that in the game? I could have swear. Maybe I'm just thinking of something. I swear it was
um
something like with a hammer.
there are a few bosses like that, but they are much later. Like Sonic Advance is the best example of that.
Mm. I
And
guess Sonic
but it's more of a comically large hammer, not uh
a tiny hammer.
I want to say a mallet. This looks more like a mallet than a hammer.
Yep. His new machine to take out Sonic. Surely Sonic will not be able to dodge that.
Mm-hmm.
And really, Robotnik's just crazy. Just was like, well, I need a live target. Truly, this older looking scientist I work for me will be on par with a super fast hedgehog.
This elderly scientist that went out of his way to make the machine for me, I will use it on him.
Yep. Surely it's the bet method. But yeah, I thought it was just a short little comedy story in between.
Yeah, and that's all it is. Not a whole lot you can say here. It's good. It's
Yeah,
nice,
it's good.
but not a whole lot I could say really.
All right. Well, let's go on to the next story.
We continue with the next story of Tails, Attack of the Badniks. Tails is on his way to a meeting at the secret base in Emerald Hill. However, he is attacked, but he is swarmed by a swarm of badniks, aerial badniks at that. We got the turtleoids, we got the buzz bombers, we got those weird skull robot things that I do not
Yeah,
like.
from the weird coyote, wolf, whatever the heck guy story.
Yeah, out of all the badniks, why bring that one back? And we even have those. I forgot what they're called officially, but they're the ones that you fight in Sky Chase, where they drop nothing but
Yeah,
mines next to the turtleoids. But anyways,
yeah, those guys.
yep. But Tails makes a run for it, and as they chase him and give flight, Tails decides to maneuver around some trees to get rid of some of them, and it works. He destroys a few of those badniks, but he still got a majority of the group after him. They chase after him, they fire at him, and Tails hides in a cave. But um, the badniks follow. However, they're at a disadvantage because Tails can make his way through the dark, and they attack each other. Well, no, they don't attack each other. Tails takes them all out. And as he escapes out of the cave, he is attacked by one more bandit that was just waiting outside. Fires a missile, knocks him on the floor, and he's dazed. The bandit is about to finish him off until Sonic bursts in, destroys the bandit, and chastises Tails for well no, he points out to Tails that I was looking for you because you didn't show up at the meeting, and he chastises him for not destroying a single badnik. However, Tails is quick to correct Sonic by saying he's destroyed plenty of them by at this point. There was a whole group of them, and he ended up outmaneuvering them and destroying a few on his own. Sonic just treats it as a yeah, sure, kid, and moves on.
But yeah, so another story that shows that Tails is super confident. Well, not confident, but like, well, he is confident, but like can go out on his own, just like the Nameless Zone adventures.
Yeah, he's fully aware that he can't take on the Sword Bandits alone, like Sonic, but he uses creativity to outmaneuver them. And the ones that he could, and he can take them out. He can take them on in a fight. It's just that like he's at a disadvantage. So when he
Well,
lured them into
we
the
see him
dark,
take out.
well, I was gonna say
Oh,
he.
continue.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say as we see, when he lured them into the dark, when he had the advantage of vision, he takes out three of them in one go.
Yeah. Plus, in the comic past, we've seen him take out several badniks in skirmishes with Sonic. He even saved Sonic that time he was mind controlled.
Yep.
But it's yeah. I'm still shocked they brought back that Skull Badnik for continuity. I
it
love it.
it's so stupid. It's the only one that does not look like a badnik.
Yeah, it doesn't fit the animal theme at all.
But it's
And then
it,
and
oh, go ahead.
also, I was gonna say this follows the theme of a lot of Tails stories where he does something super heroic, but Sonic doesn't see it, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't believe. I didn't see it, so I don't believe it," or he just never becomes aware of it.
Hmm. Because for Tails,
That's nice.
especially in this situation where Tails was all over the place, so it's not like he has any proof that he took out several of those badniks on his own.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a nice little adventure. Oh, art wise, pretty great. Tails looks pretty nice. Sonic looks a little funky.
Yeah, Sonic looks weird at the end, especially when he runs off. Like his eyes, I don't know what it is about his eyes, but it's weird.
See that part where he's standing next to Tails, that little
Uh,
panel. But yeah, the paneling's pretty good. It does some really dramatic paneling, like that's with the explosion. They tilted the panel.
yep.
The curve. I like the curved panel that leads your eye when the Radniks go. But yeah, it's a pretty good art.
Yep.
But yeah, do you want to go? You have any more to say?
No.
All right, on to the next story.
Yeah. I mean, let me just say this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with these stories at all. It's just they're small little stories. What else can you say about them? I'm not trying to
Yeah, I
just
agree.
yeah, I'm not just trying to undermine. I'm not trying to undermine them or anything. It's just you can't really say a whole lot. They're good. They're cute
Yeah,
little stories, but it's like after that, what? Uh,
but yeah, I agree. They're nice little stories. Plus, we have a lot more stories to go through, so I'm not trying to linger too much on stuff we don't have much to say.
yeah. But we are
Plus, we have
now.
a more important story now.
Yep. And uh, well, I'm just looking for one. Nebula. There we go. That's that one badnik that drops the spike balls in Sky Chase Zone. It's
Ah,
called
that's a
Nebula.
really cool name for such a minor badnik.
A lot of them have cool names later on, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Anyways, now for the real story that will tie into the later issues. We
Yeah, the one that
open.
matters.
Yep. We open with a little story of how sometimes deep within the sky, of Mobius, you can see a strange outline hidden behind the clouds, and that outline is said to be a legend. It's supposed to be legend or a myth of an ancient floating island high above the sky of Mobius. However, not many people know that the legend is very much true, and the floating island is guarded by a single echidna named Knuckles. Knuckles is the last inhabitant of the echidnas and guardian of the sacred Chaos Emeralds, and he also guardian of the Chaos Emeralds and guardian of the floating island. One day, a meteor flies down from high above, impacting somewhere in the ice cap zone. Knuckles makes his way quickly through there, and once he finds it, it's no meteor. It's some kind of mechanical orb, and a small robot bursts out. Knuckles is prepared to fight. However, the little robot pleads for his help that that he is that there that the that there's just a humble inventor deep within that is trapped, and he requests the help of this echidna. Knuckles makes his way in, and he searches, and the satellite explains that the little robot explains that this giant mechanical mass was flying high above the sky until suddenly the main computer went out and crashed into the floating island. Knuckles continues to make his way through the um, the airship until he finally comes across the man leading the small camera droid and the owner of the giant airship. It is Dr. Robotnik, trapped under debris, and he's come to warn Knuckles of the vile menace known as Sonic the Hedgehog.
I know his fan base is awful. Just kidding. Let's go.
Yeah, fuck those
Just
guys.
kidding.
Those guys.
Uh, but yeah, the first. But yeah, art. Look, I like it. It's very different. I like the cartoonist expression.
Yep.
Robotnik
Knuckles.
looks really cool at the end.
Yeah, but Knuckles definitely. This is uh, this is definitely Knuckles' design based very early on the concept art, and not in his official art that came with the game because, oi, he looks iffy on some spots.
Look at the art. At least the art before this comic with the Knuckles profile. Um, I don't know. I see they got the face really right from what you see with at least the artwork for the early art where he's like, see what you know what I'm talking about the picture right before this with the early art.
Yeah,
You got his
yeah,
face pretty right once you like go back and forth on it.
yeah. No, you're right.
Honestly, the only detail they didn't put in was the little belts. Was the little belt things on his wrist that they had early on.
Oh no, they do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the second page, you see
Oh
them.
yeah, you're right. I see it like in some panels now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was taken directly from that. I feel like it matches up pretty well from what they had.
Oh no, yeah, it does. It's just this is concept. I'm not concept art, but this was the European box cover of Knuckles. Um, from the Sonic 3 cover. It's better than the American one because the American one you don't even see Knuckles at all. You just see his eyes hiding in the bush. In the Japanese one, you actually get a good clear look of Knuckles and Sonic back to back. But this is with it being the only art that they have, it's pretty good.
Yep.
It's consistent with it.
Uh, yeah, I was actually looking at it. It seems like I don't know, there's like a shadow on his like little stripe. It seems like they're starting because I know in British because we're gonna see later. There's a little stripe on him. You see in most Knuckle stuff, and for British Knuckle, that's a necklace. Oh yeah, it is. They keep it like that because when you see him talk to the robot for the first time, you see it kind of lift off of him. and it has
Mm.
a little stripe stream to the side of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing. That pattern, it's a white moon crescent pattern on his chest. It's supposed to be just that, a pattern on his chest. Kind of like the little, kind of like Sonic's little, like, peach colored stomach, or Tails' fuzz on that area. Knuckles is supposed to have, like, that crescent thing to, I guess, make him work better alongside the rest of the Sonic characters because
Break
they
up
all
his colors in the middle.
yeah, and they all have like something on their chest that helps break yeah, like you said, help break away the colors and add a bit more depth to the character to the design. In the UK's case, I guess they didn't because you don't see it on the concept art at all. I mean that he has a necklace on him. And that's why I say this is more like a early concept art of him because there's a lot of things that are corrected later, like his like they get rid of the belts on his wrists, they give him the crescent, and they make him a little bit taller than what he looks like here. But um, because of that, I guess in game they probably saw that he had like that white patch, and they decided that it was a necklace, and they just kind of stuck with it because we'll see later on that it is consistently a necklace throughout the entire series, and not a patch that's supposed to be over his fur.
I guess they established it and they're just like, well, there's no harm in keeping it like that.
No, of course not. That's I mean that's essentially that's probably why because there's no like they never bring it up or anything. It never does anything.
Oh, it does later.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it does later. I think
Uh,
when you bring up his tribe stuff.
okay, well then we'll see. But they never bothered to correct it, and they're aware of it. So I guess they decided like, hey, this is something we just keep since no one's really complaining about it, and that's fair because it's not. I mean, I don't like the necklace, but I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. So
Yeah, if his eyes were green though. Okay, about that. Uh, but yeah, so the floating island. So this is just a myth in Mobius. So no one flew up there ever. It's not even that high up. They have planes. Like, I'm just curious how this became a legend.
that is a great.
Also, at some point, this thing had to have not can't always be in the clouds. It doesn't seem to be moving super fast, or maybe they are just another third, but I just assume it's moving kind of slow. I'm sure at some point someone will see it, and then they'll be like, "Yo, buddies, there's a whole island up there."
Yeah, kind of weird.
Yeah. Then again, Eggman is like, I know who he is, so I guess someone at one point had to have gone up there and like brought back new. Like Eggman's like, that means you. So I guess someone must have went up there before and brought back news of Knuckles.
I guess.
Or whoever Knuckles was there before Knuckles, unless we assume Knuckles has been there since the beginning of the legend.
Maybe. I don't know. It is very clearly in that little area where it's I don't know. Just roll with it
Well,
for now.
I'm just gonna tell you, it gets answered later, and I do. But
I mean, I know, but right now it's treated like, just roll with it. We'll figure it out later.
yeah, that's both. He's always been there. Here's some continuity shit that doesn't make sense to me. So the Death Egg falls here. Wasn't it? Sorry, I'm assuming this is a new Death Egg.
Which doesn't make any sense because
The last Death. Okay, so let me break this down. First Death Egg was already destroyed because Sonic 2 already happened, and we
yeah,
saw it get destroyed and like fall down to the in the water in the comic.
yeah.
So this would have to be a second Death Egg. The second Death Egg is in the Special Zone.
So why did it leave the special zone?
But here's the thing, because we're gonna see later. This has to be a third Death Egg or something like that. That just fell again.
The only thing I could think of is that what's in the special zone isn't a death egg. It's just a base that just looks like a death egg, and Robotnik just built another death egg here on Mobius.
Call it the Death Egg, though. when Kentafor Computer is talking about it.
And I got nothing.
All Kentafor Computer is just freaking wrong.
Oh, we
But
saw.
nah, this is
Well, no,
another death.
he could be wrong.
Huh?
We saw that with the time stone.
Oh, that's true. He presented it as a gem, but that's just a rock. The real thing is just a rock. But yeah, I guess another death egg was made. Sonic got into another fight with Robotnik, and then it crashed. A fight we just never see. You know why it's doing this? To try to tie into the
No, no,
to
no.
Sonic and Knuckles.
No. Apparently, according to Robotnik, and that we see later, um, it just crashed. Apparently, it was like a main computer problem.
Oh, oh yeah, you're right. So he just had another death egg, so he made another death egg in space, and he just fucked up with the programming and it crashed.
Yeah.
I can believe it. Robotnik has a lot of resources.
Mm,
But yeah. Oh, it's a good short introduction to Knuckles.
yep.
He doesn't look like someone. The pa- doesn't look like someone that likes to chuckle though.
Yeah. It looks like a very serious guy.
Yeah, he was born on an island. Okay, enough references to the goddamn song. Let's. Do you want to go on?
Yep. And now we can finally move on to our batch. 40 minutes in. Um,
Yep. God, we're gonna have to make the summaries kind of quick on this one.
I will. Anyways,
All right.
when we move on to issue number 33 of Sonic the Comic, this time we have on the cover art we have Bert and Cam from our last side story, last issue side story, and we see that it is actually a balloon of Sonic that they're blowing up. We'll come back to that later. Anyways, moving on to the story prior, picking up right after the holiday special, um, there is a news report of the Death Egg crashing into the floating island, which is, I mean, no, no, for the Death Egg crashing, crashing down, but no trace of it anywhere. They speculate along, Sonic's crew along with Kintobor, um, speculate that it might have crashed onto the floating island. That said, Sonic and Tails take off to the floating island, and they found it. This story is called Enter Knuckles. While everyone discusses what to do, Sonic and Tails are already in the Marble Zone. I'm sorry, Marble Garden Zone of Angel Island. They ride down the slopes, they fly through, and they make their way through the obstacles and traps that are set by an ancient civilization here. They encounter Robotnik, and Sonic makes his way towards the Robotnik to fight him. However, he's caught off guard by a fist in his face, and he's knocked to the ground. Turns out that his assailant was Knuckles the Echidna, who has teamed up with Robotnik. And Robotnik reiterates what he said in the last issue, that they are there to stop the evil Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay. Story. All right. Oh, some little details. Sally Acorn makes her appearance in her outfit that she's gonna wear for the rest of the comic. That little news outfit with the pink. What's the name of those? Croissant, not croissant. Those flurry things you see on you see on like fancy shirts. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking about, right?
yeah. I don't know what they're called, but
Yeah,
I know what you're
but
talking
yeah,
about.
one of those with a pink bow, and we don't see it here, but she actually has like a skirt. We're gonna see it later, but she actually has like a skirt
Hmm.
and doing her job that she's gonna have for the rest of the comic as the comic's news anchor. Very different from the princess.
Yep.
But yeah, so yeah, art, Richard, um, Nigel, Richard, good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
really good. The actual the story, we see the freedom fighters in there. Kintavor computer. So we learn about the floating island. like we said before, it's like a myth to a lot of people. We get the beginning of the story. We get this little some banter between the freedom fighters. They make fun of Amy for being wronged. I
Uh,
know it's the small things like that really makes it. We
I
see some of
guess.
the traps from the game, like those weird heads that shoot out the arrows.
Yep.
For and some of the heal stuff. Oh, also Sonic does his lightning shield,
Oh, the insta shield. Except in this one, it's
the
called.
instant shield.
In this one, it's just called the force field, and
Yeah.
it is very much an ass pull because Sonic is man. Good thing I got my force field up in time, and Tails
Well, it's
immediately
gonna get explained.
Tails immediately responds with, "I didn't even know you had one."
It's like I could explain that, and I okay. I understand why they're doing it. Also, I love the weird interpretation. Also, before I forget this, I like the weird interpretation of the spite badnik of like the spites liquidizing back in it,
Mm-hmm.
like when you see them come out. It's really cool. But yeah, I understand why they're doing the game adaptation, so they have to think of some way to introduce the element shields,
I
and they're only
agree.
going to introduce this one. I know for the rest, they're only going to introduce this one.
Yeah.
So it's just, I guess they're like, how do we introduce this shit? Uh, we can make an ability that Sonic always had, but how the hell are we gonna explain that? We show it for a panel, we use it one other time, and then we never talk about it ever. Actually, I want to make a track of this. I want to see if we past this story arc, will Sonic ever use that ability again or mention it?
I don't know.
I I don't think he does, but I want to make a note. I'm gonna now comment every time and be like, "Thanks, Sonic. The Insta Shield would have been really nice right there."
Yeah. Maybe it's a situation where he can only he doesn't want to use it because it leaves him open because I mean in the game it's a frame perfect attack.
It's pretty frame perfect here because he was like, if you go by his momentum and going here, it must have happened in like a split second.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah, we get our second introduction of Knuckles. Really flat head here, and it's a good beginning. You see some parts of the island. Tails saves Sonic, gets into the tune. I feel like it's a good beginning. Also, they're showing the whole mechanic that you can burst through certain walls. When Sonic got past that wall,
Yeah. I just find it weird that they started in Marble Garden Zone and not like Angel Island, which is supposed to be the outermost area. Because Marble Garden's supposed to be deeper within the island.
oh, they did just fly on top and just ran. Well, no, you're wrong. No, no, I'm wrong. Wrong. They did. They are in the outer part of the island. So yeah,
I don't know. But
eh,
whatever.
I guess.
I guess they got tired of
Yeah,
the greenery. And that's fair. They didn't use enough
yeah,
browns yet from the last issue.
yeah. But yeah, it's a good beginning to the story, and we'll talk about how this story unfolds. Unless you have more to say.
Nope.
All right, let's get to our second Sonic story.
We continue with from our last issue, Cam and Bert Barf, search and rescue operatives, Badnik Army repair functionaries. We continue from our last issue where Bert threatened a prime Badnik, and we follow up with that with both him and Cam tearing it apart. Immediately, they set to work to making new creative art with it, and honestly, that's kind of morbid. But next thing you know,
They're
as they
robots. They don't count.
yeah, but they decide that they have to test the badniks now in the Emerald Hill Zone to check which ones are nice ones or which ones are still evil and which ones have been reprogrammed. And they start with a little decoy, a sonic balloon that they have just in case. And according based off of how Bert was immediately attacked when he blew it up, Seems like there's plenty of vile badniks around. However, we cut to two badniks who are just sniffing the flowers and enjoying them. However, a third one bursts through and crushes them. Those two nice badniks didn't take too well to that, and they crash it and beat it up, and they leave and they walk away from it. Cam and Bert continue their search until eventually they um until eventually they are spotted by the two nice badniks. They don't take too kindly to them though, and the two reprogrammed bandits attack Cam and Bert, and that's where we end the issue with that one.
But yeah. So we continue the Cam and Birth thing. Another story from the bad guy's perspective.
Yep.
Cam and Birth still look freaking weird, especially Cam and her weird razor sharp teeth mouth.
Yep.
It's gonna get really weird when we start to see where we see big, and then we compare that to Cam, and we're like, these are the same. These are the same species.
I mean, well, we got Blaze and Big,
Oh yeah, we see Blaze,
or
and we
Honey the cat.
compared him to Cam, and then we're like, this is the same species.
Or Honey.
Oh yeah, well she's not in this comic,
Hmm.
but yeah,
On
same
a whole,
species.
yeah, it's just a continued side story. Not really much to say from me on this one.
Yep. Sonic Balloon, more fans for the plot of the Night Spots. Um, yeah, it's all right. Oh, also the balloon thing from the cover. So the balloon is the balloon they use for the Badniks here. Uh, uh, that's like the second time a side story's ever gotten in the main cover over the main story.
Yeah, the first
The
being
first was
Tails.
with Tails, and now with Bert and Cam. Well, I guess someone must have liked because they show up a lot more late. They keep showing up.
I I don't know why, but we'll
We'll
see when
see you
that
later.
happens.
Yeah. So you want to go on to the next story? Unless you have more to say.
No.
All right. Let's go on to the next stuff.
Yep, we go on to issue 34 of Sonic the Comic. The cover art has it's based for some other story that's in here, not Sonic. Let's move on. We open back up with
Uh,
Sonic the Comic, Enter Knuckles, Part 2, with Robotnik and his new bodyguard Knuckles standing over Sonic, who's on the floor, and Tails, who's pushed to the side. And Robotnik is immediately setting in the notion that Sonic is a cruel um, a cruel villain, and Robotnik chastises Sonic by saying, "Give it up! You'll never get your hands on the floating island's Chaos Emeralds." And Sonic counters him by saying, "Why would I need that if I already have a set of emeralds?" Already implying that so this already sets up the fact that there are more than one set of Chaos Emeralds.
and we're gonna
Uh,
learn the reason why, but yeah. And we're also learn the fact that Sonic only collected 6.
yep. For a while now, we've already been through Sonic 2 zones and Sonic 3 zones now, but we're still only on 6 Chaos Emeralds. But that will be corrected soon, as we'll see. Moving on, we see that Robotnik is confirming with Knuckles that, see, I told you, he already has Chaos Emeralds and he's already here to gather the rest. And he six Knuckles on Sonic, and Knuckles immediately being baited by Robotnik. They go into a all-out brawl. Sonic gets a couple clean hits in, but it's not enough as Knuckles hits the ground, pushing Sonic up. Sonic knocks him over the horizon, but Knuckles digs immediately underground and knocks him back. They both go at it until eventually Knuckles is pushed on the ground and Sonic seemingly the victor. They're both ready to go, however, and they're both ready to go for round two. However, Tails is there with the tornado and points out to Sonic that um I mean, points out to Sonic that he's ready to go with their plan, and their plan is to capture Robotnik, which they do, and they leave the floating island. Sonic ditches Knuckles, it hops on the tornado, and they both escape with Robotnik in tow, while Knuckles watches from below.
Okay. So we've entered into Knuckles. Wait, that didn't sound right. We've entered more into the Knuckles story.
We start our
Um,
story with re-entering Knuckles. Yeah.
yeah, we're really into there, and he's done, and he's definitely not chuckling. So going back to what you said, we learn more about Knuckles is guarding the Chaos Emeralds, and no mention of the Mastered Emerald.
Uh-huh.
That's gonna that's gonna matter more later. Which and Knuckles also confirms that that there's like you said, there are more Chaos Emeralds, which is a thing that a lot of adaptation seems to do. At least when it comes to the comics. That Archie also later on did. Granted, in Archie, there was way more emeralds than what we see here.
Yeah, in Archie, it was Sonic only collected green Chaos Emeralds for the longest time, and the planet was literally filled to the brim with Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah, and there was
And
like Chaos Emeralds across the universe, like red Chaos Emeralds and blue Chaos Emeralds, and the
all had
Master.
yeah different Chaos Emerald colors that all had different effects on Sonic. As we
Really?
see,
Did they all have different effects? I thought they were all did the same stuff.
no, they all had different effects. The biggest example is the red Chaos Emeralds on a planet that Sonic visited later.
Oh yeah, that's what turned it split his supersonic side.
Yep. And gathering 7 emeralds granted him the form to turn super. However, it split him. It split his personality, or it split the supersonic persona as a separate entity. And
As
that
a
separate,
reference of Fleetway.
yep. And it became a destructive force of nature that it wasn't as vocally violent as Fleetway's supersonic, but it was definitely more like, uh, n-
Oh, it said it didn't care about good and evil,
yeah,
just power.
just power. And it attacked the weak.
But yeah, that happened there. Very much like Kryptonite from Superman, which wasn't the first time Sonic's referenced that. But yeah, at least in the Archie. But going back to this, the fight between Sonic and Knuckles is a pretty good back and forth.
Hmm.
Also, this is the first instant, unless you count like the game thing Knuckles can do where he runs into things. Knuckles' digging thing was first done here. He
Um,
doesn't really get majorly into digging, I don't think, until Sonic Adventure.
mm,
Like in Sonic and Knuckles, he could. There, I guess this is to mimic the thing where he could like hit like certain barriers that Sonic and Tails can't get past.
I believe the manual
If you,
mentions that he digs.
yep, but like to the extent, I think it's the first instance that's a major ability he uses it.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. The manuals explain that he does bury underground and stuff like that. But or uses his fist to dig underground, but we never see it. Not until like we never see a visual example in canon until I want to say Sonic Adventure, yeah, like you said.
Yep. And years before this, just did that, just
Yep.
like a normal kick does.
Well, I mean, I guess if you want to say the official first time was probably Sonic Underground. I think it came out before this.
I want to actually check. You know what? I'm gonna actually check
Wait,
the dates.
no, I take that back. I think
Really
Sonic Underground came later.
came
But yeah,
later.
yeah, it came later.
But yeah, this was the first instance of that becoming majorly used, I should say.
Hmm.
Dang, Sonic, come, dang. Our Sega stole from Sonic okay, jokes aside. But yeah, the fight between Sonic and Knuckles are pretty good. Pretty good back and forth between them, emphasizing Knuckles' immense strength.
Yep.
Though Sonic does win the exchange from underground. And this is one of the first times Sonic has actually met his match. Well, besides, did he really meet his match in Metallic? He kind of like beat him a few times.
He beat the first scuffle with Metallics, which is similar to Knuckles, but Metallics was the one to get Sonic serious in a fight. So
Yeah,
but it's hard to say. Oh, which because in this one it's kind of blatantly said that Sonic has met his match in this fight, but Metallics, I guess Metal Sonic pissed off Sonic enough that he got serious.
yeah. But then again, he had the power of the little planet, which juiced him up and made him practically invincible.
Yep.
And he used that to beat Sonic. But I guess like in a fair fight, besides that, Sonic even says he doesn't know if he could have defeated Knuckles.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like the conclusion of this. The Tails just went and captured Robotnik and left.
Yep. That's all they're
It's
there
like,
for,
yeah,
anyways.
yeah. Hey, and that weird ability Sonic does here, where he runs around Knuckles, and then he increases the pressure of his cyclone, and that shoots him forward.
I I don't know how that works. You would think he would like suffocate or something.
Yeah. So maybe Knuckles, well, he does barrel on the ground. Maybe he can go a long time without needing the air.
uh I like how they do his digging, but they don't do his gliding, like how he can recover himself.
Well, he got knocked down straight to the ground. He didn't use it yet.
Yeah, I know, but
Plus, we're
like
gonna,
I know, like, but he immediately went into digging. Like, I'm surprised that he just didn't like glide first to turn around and punch Sonic or something.
I guess he's just using what the echidnas do best.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a good second part to the story. But yeah, it's a good second part of the story. You introduce Knuckles and to the reader, get to show how much of a big how much he's a big equal to Sonic.
Yep. It's
Yeah,
the biggest comparison between them is as fast as Sonic is, that's how strong Knuckles is.
yeah, and also and Knuckles is tricked by Robotnik,
Yep.
so it also but yeah. Do you have any more stuff you want to say about the issue?
Not really. I don't have a whole lot to say until we get to the end of the arc. That's why.
Yeah. Also, Tornado is back again.
Yep.
All right, let's go on to the backstory,
We have the
the backup
backstory.
story.
We have the backup story of Sonic's World, Part 3 of Cam and Bert. And they found the two friendly bandits. And after fending them off, the two friendly bandits escape. And they run off in the Emerald Hill. They go through the loops. They head to the base of the hilltops, and they hide there. However, Cam and Bert has already caught up to them, drop from high above, and destroy the bandits, freeing the two animal buddies inside. But the two animal buddies are immediately captured, and Cam and Bert immediately set off to making a new um, buzz bomber out of the remains. However, there's not enough for two bandits. There's not enough parts for two bandits, so they combine them and essentially cannibalize the bandits to make it into one super bandit. They shove the two animals back in, reprogram it, and it flies off. And the issue ends, or the story ends, with another buzz bomber flying down low and sniffing the flowers, implying that there are many reprogrammed badniks.
You know, yeah. I hope this subplot comes back because it's pretty interesting.
Hmm.
I don't mean Cam and Bert in themselves, but the idea of Badniks turning good, and it's like it'll be an interesting way. I don't think it does, but it'll be interesting if that would have built up, and like eventually that's how Robotnik is defeated. But yeah, this is the last Cam and Bert story for a bit. You know what? Actually, thank God. They weren't bad, but just like,
Who cares?
eh, yeah, they weren't that interesting. They're just kind of like dumb person and kind of mean, smartish person. Their personalities didn't really carry it for me.
Yeah, it's That's the whole point of these little the Sonic's backstories. These are stories that do a lot of world building for you, and let you know that there's more going on between these main stories. But like, I don't
Yeah,
care.
actually, I do appreciate them. I do appreciate them that they exist. This,
Yeah, yeah,
but I don't know. It could have been a little bit more interesting. Though I find it funny. I just find it funny to see these two kids. They're like so happy, and then they just get back to being captured and in a worse position.
yep.
All we
But
can hope is that Sonic destroyed that thing really quickly.
yep. But that said, let's move on to our next
Yep.
issue, issue number 35 of Sonic the Comic. And on this cover, we've got Robotnik napped. Robot, Rob, Robot,
Just
Robotnik's been
picture
captured.
Robotnik's face.
Yeah, it's
Robotnik's face
Robotnik.
is all
It's Robotnik in jail, and the evil
Yep.
dictator has been sent behind bars. It's a nice art. I like it. Creepy.
Yep.
But let's move on. We continue with the main story of well, this time it's a new story, no longer called Enter Knuckles. We've already introduced to the guy. We are now introduced to the story of the power of the Chaos Emeralds. We open with the secret base in the Emerald Hill Zone with our crew, and Porker Lewis is sent down below to check up on Dr. Robotnik. Robotnik taunts Porker Lewis and scares him and threatens him. However, um, the floor in the jail cell is being crumpled apart, and it turns out it's Knuckles who has come to burst Robotnik out of the cell. Meanwhile, Robotnik has gotten a hold of Porker Lewis and has threatened um, Sonic with the Chaos Emeralds, exchange for Porker Lewis's life for the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic, having no other choice but to heed the demands of the evil dictator. Robotnik takes off with the Chaos Emeralds as well as um Knuckles. They head underground and they escape through a escape capsule, I guess. Sonic and Tails give chase on the tornado. They attack it, and it crashes back down onto the floating island. And Knuckles bursts through the glass of the ship, continuing their fight from before.
Yeah. So as a part, but yeah, Porker Lewis. But yeah, Porker Lewis tries to do it. More good characterization of him. Honestly, they picked the worst person to do this.
Hmm.
I guess they were all going in turns, and they were like, "Well, I guess Porker Lewis is there." But yeah, they got Robotnik. All right. So I know the freedom fighters aren't that morbid about it, so they're not just gonna kill him. But they really should have just killed him.
Yeah, honestly, it's oh man, it's really just comes down to the fact like, hey, why don't you just kill the bad guy? We wouldn't have any other stories now, would we?
Well, especially with the messed up stuff he does later, I can always just think they could have just ended it right now.
Nah, yeah, and it's the same thing with Archie for me.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they could have just ended that right now. I guess they don't want to get morbid. And I like to think that Amy thought it. Amy was like, "Could I just shoot him in the face with the crossbow?" But they're like, "Nah, nah."
Sonic will probably be the one with the most hesitance towards doing anything like that
Oh yeah,
because,
that's Kentovore still to him.
yep.
At least it was Kentovore. Um, but yeah, they imprison him and no guard. Like I don't know. I thought maybe they would have like had some cameras or something,
Hmm.
a little something to guard him a little better. Like, just Knuckles aside, he has people that work for him. Any one of them could have gotten in there. I would have think Sonic would probably be like, "All right, guys, we would we like lead alone watching him a lot more." But no, this was all in the Freedom Fighters, honestly. Like, I don't know. I guess if Knuckles would have, I don't know, if not Sonic was there automatically, I guess they could, and they were all watching. I don't know. I just feel like they could have had more security there. Though they gave him, at least going by the art down there where the floor's rumbling, they gave him some alcohol. So, that's pretty nice.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a good in between point in the story. It's pretty alright. Alright, continues the back and forth. How could I forget the way Robotnik Knuckles tracked Robotnik? So apparently Knuckles let Robotnik put a small implant in his skull to tune in on the frequency of the small implant in his tooth.
Yeah, you think a guy
What
who doesn't I'm surprised Knuckles allowed that for a guy who doesn't trust anyone. You think he would have been handed a device or something? No, it's just a flat out fucking implant.
I'm shocked this doesn't come back later where Robotnik's like, that small implant I gave you, it was a bomb. But dang, that's really unsafe.
Yeah.
Also, the small implant was like a little part in his tooth. Damn, that must have hurt.
Well, I mean, to be
Like,
fair, Robotnik has giant chompers, so
yeah, we see the little cube that comes out of it, but now maybe he has enough aesthetic for it. Um, so yeah, we see the control computer there. But yeah, they're back to the floating island. Honestly, now I'm thinking about it, this whole part about Robotnik getting kidnapped. Oh no, never mind. The whole purpose was to get the Chaos Emeralds.
yep.
So it does like serve a purpose.
Yeah. Besides, he also accounted for being kidnapped anyway. So,
Yeah.
but anyways,
No, it's just.
go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, and the Chaos Emeralds being unstable didn't sap. And also, our theory doesn't work because Chaos Emeralds are unstable, and it didn't sap Robotnik's evil.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're also kept in a case.
Oh yeah, that's true. They're still in the frozen case.
Hmm.
Oh, and I guess Sonic finally decided to take him out of the after what happened with Plunder. He took the Chaos Emeralds back to the main base.
Yeah, I guess he kind of figured, hey, maybe they're safer closer to me.
Yeah, not just in that little ice cave, which in the picture that old Kentrivore gave us, he just threw it on the ground. It just left it in there.
Hmm. Kick some,
Yeah, so
kick some snow on top.
it's like safe. No one will ever get them. And we clearly see them now. We see all six now in the multicolored.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a good in between. It really makes you want to know what's going to happen next, and it ends on a good idea that Sonic we into another fight with Knuckles.
Yep. But before we cut out this issue, we've got another side story with everyone's two-tailed fox. I'm passing this to Tom because I do not care.
Okay, now we're in another Tails adventure. Yeah, Zone Runner and the Flock. So we have Tails and Sonic in Chemical Plant Zone. They're running. Sonic steps in some Mega Mac and gets shot out by some guys, which are the two guys which we're gonna learn who those two guys are later. They go into some tubes, but due to like a gunshot, it makes the tubes go in different ways. Tails goes to a different place where he meets a guy called, what was his name again? Nutsan? Was it like Nutsan? Yeah, Nutsan. We're gonna learn his last name. It's Bolts. Get it? It's a pun. And he's Tails says the S word, which is Sonic, and this guy gets really upset, and that's the adventure. All right. So this script is. So let's get to the art. It's pretty all right.
Robotnik looks
Tails.
way too creepy.
Yeah, Sonic doesn't look good. Tails looks okay.
I don't know. On the
Come
like
on,
on the third
Tails looks.
page On the third page, third panel, that close up of Tails'
Okay.
face looks weird.
I don't know. I guess I know what they're trying to do. They're making his eyes big and adding the white to make him cute.
Dude, his ears are so small and his forehead is so big.
Oh, you can kind of maybe say his eye is, they wouldn't flop like that.
Eh,
I didn't think it was that terrible. Robotnik looks interesting. Looks fucking scary as shit. Dang,
yeah,
I have to say, this series really makes the adventure design just seem horrific.
yeah,
The goofy adventure design sometimes just seem like the scariest thing.
it's uh it's weird considering that like it's so fucking goofy in the show.
Yeah. But yeah, as for the backgrounds are pretty good. The backgrounds are pretty good. We see a good bit. Oh, also Mega Mac comes back. Sonic's kryptonite that doesn't ever actually work on him.
Mhm.
And from the way this is implying, it's implying that all the chemicals in chemical plant is Mega Mac. So it's almost like a plant to generate it. But yeah, I thought it's a good first part of the story. It's setting up. There's just not a whole lot to say in the first part. I enjoyed the Tails adventures. It's like a good way to show Tails to be his own hero outside of Sonic. So, but let's see how far it adapts as we go further.
Yep.
Unless you have something else to say.
Nope. I I do not care. I really don't.
They're great. They're great, Anthony. I don't know why.
I we
What's
have such a good story going on with Knuckles and Robotnik and Sonic and Tails versus them on the floating island, and then we got Tails and Chemical Plant doing some spy shit, and I do not care. I really don't.
why it's a side story. It's a side story.
It's a side story that is doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do
It
anything.
does for Tails' character.
We just I like this. I like the holiday special where we saw him kick ass. That was it.
No, it does for his character. It shows him being his own hero.
It doesn't do shit for me.
If we he can't be the main hero in the Sonic story, so you have to use the side stories as the way to develop it.
It's it's boring. It doesn't do anything.
It does. You step on a lot of the main stories, Anthony. You step on a lot of the main stories.
No, I constantly say I rather go for the main stories, no matter how shitty they are. It's the
Even
side
issue
stories.
5, even issue 5, Anthony.
It's hey, I could at least wrap my head around the fact that it was an early issue, and I could pretend that it was important.
Pretend, okay? So you can be in denial for it.
Yeah, thing.
But no, it sets up. I like them. It sets up concepts in the universe. Like
Mm,
we'll get more into that when we get to the second part. Let's move on.
yeah, I love visiting Chemical Plant Zone for the 40th fucking time.
I want to see the concepts it sets up. Be quiet. Let's go on.
Issue 36 of Sonic the Comic. And this time on the cover art, we have Tails in a jacket that clearly doesn't fit him. Tails, the
Yeah.
leader of the flock. Tails is in hot water. More inside. I gotta say, despite what I said, that is a really good cover art.
Yep. I like the coat. Also, but we'll talk about this more when we get inside about Tails' coat.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a really good cover art. Has a good mood to it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Really like it. But let's move on to the main story. And we continue with The Power of the Chaos Emeralds, Part 2. And immediately picking up where we left off, Knuckles has burst out of the machine, out of the ship, and is starting to attack Sonic. However, Sonic immediately puts up his force field, and it turns out Sonic can activate his force field by vibrating the air molecules in front of him at sonic speed.
What?
I
Okay, what?
we will talk about that afterwards.
Okay, well, go on. We'll move on.
Sonic immediately retaliates by dazing Knuckles. After dazing him, he spin dashes into him, or does a spin attack on him, and continues to do that super speed thing where he runs around him and just knock and punches him repeatedly inside that cycle. Knuckles, realizing that he's in a bad situation, activates a trap, and the hands come and ancient golem trap hands come out and trap Sonic. Tails goes and tries to save him. However, it looks bad, and Tails is struggling to help him. Meanwhile, Sonic, though, is just playing along, and it turns out Sonic was just playing along and breaks through the stone hands. Tails questions why Sonic did such a thing, and it was to let Knuckles and Robotnik get away so he can follow them back to their base. The six Chaos Emeralds float out. Well, first off, we are introduced to the inner sanctum of the floating island. Uh, and with the reveal of the six Chaos Emeralds from Sonic, the Chaos Emeralds float out and nestle with the six Chaos Emeralds of the floating islands, and all 12 emeralds merge together until suddenly there's just six Chaos Emeralds, even more powerful than before. Robotnik saps the Chaos energy from them, however, and becomes very powerful and gigantic. Turns out this was Robotnik's plan all along, and Knuckles finds out too late that Robotnik was tricking him all along to just sap the Chaos Emerald's energy. He goes to attack Tails after Sonic and Tails have made their way in. Tails has turned into a crystal dummy, and Robotnik is about to finish off Knuckles. However, Knuckles reveals that he was hiding a seventh Chaos Emerald, the Gray Chaos Emerald, designed to control the remaining six Chaos Emeralds. And he uses it on Robotnik and saps the Chaos energy out of him. And he sapped the energy out of Robotnik and sent him away. Knuckles reveals that um, Knuckles reveals that his ancient civilization has been guarding the Chaos Emeralds for years, and he waits for them to return. Sonic and Tails are free to leave the island, and as they walk away, they wonder if they'll see their new adversary again.
Well, friend at the end of this,
Friend,
well, or at least ally.
rival, rival, friendly rival.
Yeah, but yeah, we are at the end of the Sonic 3 adaptation. Well, kinda. But at least kinda. But we're in at least the climax of the Knuckles part of it.
Yeah, we're at the end of Sonic 3. Now we have to do the Sonic and Knuckles part.
Yeah. But
But
yeah, Knuckles.
yeah,
But
but
yeah,
first things first. Let's how about that force
the
field?
shield.
Yeah,
Yeah, that bullshit. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
I called it an ass pool before, and it's an ass pool here.
I know they were probably like, how did we introduce the shields? How do we introduce these shields? But Sonic was just like, okay, if Sonic moves his hand really fast in the air, instead of just making the air move forward, it creates an electrical shield?
That's not what the Insta Shield
What?
is, though. That's not what the Insta Shield is at all. It just
Okay.
it's literally just a shield that Sonic spins really fast. Apparently, when he's in a spin attack, he speeds up to the point where he creates an extra layer of like violent like a violent air around him, and that for a brief second, and that becomes the insta shield.
Yeah, and plus this kind of confirms you can do it at any time with no consequences. You know, I really am gonna make a note now. Anytime we see Sonic about to get hit or gets hit by somebody, I'm gonna be like, "Damn, that shield would have really come in handy right there, Sonic."
Yeah, it's dumb. It's so dumb.
But here's the thing. It wasn't used as a MacGuffin because honestly, the writers could have written 1,000 ways for Sonic to dodge that punch. You could just say he moved. It was just that they wanted to introduce the concept.
I guess.
So it wasn't like, well, it wasn't like story important at any point because all the
No,
situations they put on it, Sonic could have easily just done something else, but they just wanted to introduce the concept.
it's still dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's just a one-off power that we'll probably never see or brought up again.
And you know what's
I
funny?
don't know.
Archie's not much better with it either. They do the same shit. It's just introduced in one issue and that's it. And that one issue though, they at least treat it like it is the Insta Shield, where Sonic can only perform it in the air, and there's a very high chance that sometimes it just won't work.
Yeah, but now with this, it seems too consistent. You're almost like, why doesn't Sonic just use that any time?
Yeah.
How good is this shield? Could it block gunfire? But yeah, it's just a weird one-off power.
Yep.
It's not the
Oh.
best way to introduce.
Yep. Oh, I guess we talk about the Chaos Emeralds, huh?
Well, and I could say about Knuckles' traps, I like the way the fight ends. Knuckles just says, you know what, we could continue fighting, we could test to see who's the best. But I got a time thing, so let me do the little switch that I know of since I haven't lived on here. That's a good introduce way to introduce the idea of Knuckles like doing the switches he does in the game.
Yeah.
Like he knows there's traps all over the island that he knows of.
Yep. Really hammers in that Knuckles is he may be gullible, but he's not an idiot. He's he's in an environment that he knows that he has the advantage of. For all we know, he could have lured Sonic back onto the floating island just so he could have the advantage with the entire ecosystem with it. Because
Yep.
as
Also,
Knuckles,
yeah.
I was gonna
Oh,
say,
continue.
as Knuckles says, um, when you fight against him, you're not just fighting him; you're fighting the entire island itself.
Yeah. Also, he has the zoom tube that he uses to go around the island.
I don't know how that
But then
works.
again,
Like,
huh?
I'm trying to figure out where is that from, the Zoom tube, and the only thing I could think of is like, uh, I guess the underground, uh, okay, so like the end of Angel Island before you fight the first boss, or the first Robotnik fight, you go through a bunch of tubes underground and then you shoot back up before you fight the airship. I guess that's what it is,
I
but
guess it is.
I don't know. It just like that's enough to get you through the entire island. Like that thing's massive.
Well, I assume there's more than one. There's like multiple. I assume they go really, really fast.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
They're all
It's just
throughout the. If they're throughout the whole island, because Sonic goes into one, and then
yeah.
Knuckles goes into one. So
I mean, I guess okay. I guess it's supposed to be the equivalent like mole tubes or mole holes that moles burrow through as a entire traffic way for them to get around.
yeah, and I bet they suck you in, and you can go anywhere. I guess he has like a method to control it and know where each one goes to which part, so he doesn't have to walk everywhere.
I guess.
But yeah, I know I like it. It's a good method. It's a good method to explain how he can get over a whole island easy.
Mhm.
It's an interesting concept. So on to the next concept, the Chaos Emeralds. So no Super Emeralds, no Mastered Emeralds. It's
No.
just the Chaos Emeralds.
Yep. Oh, by the way, the destination that they arrived in is called the Temple of Chaos. But later on, we know that it's just called the Hidden Palace Zone.
But yeah, you see the Temple of Chaos and the Chaos Emeralds fused together
Yep.
just to make just the six.
So it doesn't explain that they become more powerful, or are they less powerful now, or what? They just become from 12 to 6 again.
Also, there's the whole evil energy that were in the other six.
Yep.
So we assume that the other ones don't have the evil energy. So I guess now there's just like a tiny bit of evil energy, or at least halfway evil energy. So Robotnik can go. So this is also the first time we see Robotnik go super.
Yeah, That was something that was never established before, but Robotnik can apparently absorb chaos energy.
Well, he does have it in him. At least the evil energy from it.
No, the evil was poured into him. He never got chaos energy out of it.
Well, it must have been some chaos power in there with the explosion,
I guess
so you
I-
could
it's
relate it back.
it's just one of those things where why didn't he absorb the chaos emeralds that he from when they were first given to him by Sonic?
Ah, maybe he just wanted the extra power. It is a Robotnik thing.
Well, then he would have. I don't know. He could have easily overpowered Knuckles and then just take them from whatever.
Uh, I don't know. This doesn't seem wrong to me. If you want, it's better to have them all together and have like your full power.
Okay, I guess. It's just it's never established that he could absorb chaos energy, and he does it with such ease that
Also,
you kind of wonder why doesn't anyone else do that?
well, no, because he says he has the small device that acts the same way as the Gray Emerald. Remember? He has it in his hand when the Chaos Emerald energy goes into him. See? If you go back to the panel,
Yeah, you're
he
right.
has it in his hand.
Will act the same way as the gray chaos emeralds. Watch. First
And now the
reintegrate
final
them.
say I absorb chaos energy into myself. So I assume it's the remote.
Yeah, but does the gray chaos emerald? I mean, so what? Does the gray chaos emerald allow you to absorb chaos energy then?
Well, it controls the others, so I would assume it could control their power. Since according to Knuckles, it allows you to control the other six.
Mm.
Or this is just what I'm assuming, or Robotnik can just naturally do it. I would
I,
assume it's dangerous. Or maybe Robotnik and Sonic are the only two that can do it because because of the explosions they've been into.
maybe. Wait, isn't there a certain type of robot that looks like Sonic that can do that too?
Well, that's a robot. You can just Robotnik could have just built it to do that.
Okay.
He
Uh,
did build the machine. He did build a little device that can control the Gray Chaos Emerald. He could probably just build it into it.
yeah, you're right.
Oh, also Knuckles is shown to not be stupid in this comic.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he's been shown consistently throughout the entire thing that he's not stupid. Just been
Well, yeah,
just been gullible. Just not gullible. Just being emotionally tricked by Robotnik, manipulated by Robotnik.
I'll say gullible is the right. Not gullible, but like trusting. But yeah, not gullible is the right word. But he's not like dumb. He had the Gray Emeralds just in case,
Yep. It
and he
also
had a
show
plan.
it also really shows that he really doesn't trust anyone, even though Robotnik and him seem like buddy buddy.
And he also had a whole plan. He was waiting until Robotnik got them all together, and to see his true colors.
Hmm.
So yeah, he had a whole plan all this whole time.
Yep.
Really shows him was intelligent, and we got the little stinger at the end. And he could have killed Robotnik. He just doesn't. Well, understand he doesn't care that much about the whole like what's happening down there. And
Yep.
this time we learn the reason why he's on his island is he's waiting. You know, waiting for his people because he knows one day they'll come back from the stars.
Which is this isn't the first time we've heard about it. We've heard about it in the holiday special. In the first page about Knuckles, it explains what he's doing and that he's waiting for his people.
One day come back. Oh, also with the Great Emerald thing, there was a thing in the early man, manual. I can't
Manual.
speak.
Manual.
Manual that talked about the Gray Emerald being kind of special.
Which is only
So
an
there,
American thing
yeah,
because in Japanese, well, actually, the Japanese manual actually hints at the events of the Sonic 2 Japanese manual hints at the events of Sonic 3, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles hints at the events of Sonic Adventure. So there's a very clear storyline there. But unfortunately, translation's a bitch and localization was the best thing to do around that time because there's no such thing as the internet. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, the internet was there, but it's not as mainstream and it wasn't as easy to get a hold of information as it is now. So a lot of people had to just kind of fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
So, yep, that's and the Gray Chaos Emerald. It's given a lot more importance because it's the final Chaos Emerald that you get in Sonic 2. And because of that, it's given this weird fanfare and sense that it is more important than the other six Chaos Emeralds.
Well, I like what the Master Emerald later on does,
Yes,
where it can
this
control the other ones.
yep, officially this it's weird because the Chaos Emerald, the Gray Chaos Emerald just looks so dinky and small. Um but the Master Emerald, which is supposed to be the master, I mean obviously the main source of it's in its name, Master Emerald. It's supposed to control the Chaos Emeralds. Its power, its energy, everything. Hell, it's because of the Master Emerald that the Chaos Emeralds become Super Emeralds. Um, and it's weird because I don't know if it's explained or we'll see it later with the Gray Chaos Emerald, but the Master Emerald is sentient.
As far as this comic goes, I don't think we ever see it become sentient, but we do see it later. It does come back. It does come into play.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll be introduced to the Master Emerald as well, since that is a real thing. But
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll
Also,
have.
enough motivation with the people. I don't think the game ever. Check me if I'm wrong. Does the game ever explain why, or give like an explanation, somewhat of an explanation before adventure, why Knuckles is there?
Uh, I could do a quick search right now.
'Cause I don't
Uh,
think so. Even adventure, we know what happened to the echidnas, but we don't know why Knuckles is the only one there, where his parents, or where anything was.
hmm uh,
But yeah, this one he's just waiting for them to come from the stars. Almost giving you an almost alien vibe. I'm not saying as a hint for anything, just an observation.
which is something that comes back with the Babylon Rogues. But I'm trying to look and I'm not really seeing anything. Hmm. Um. Well, I mean, this is unrelated, but according to the Japanese Manual of Knuckles Chaotix, the Knuckles clan created the Chaos Rings. Huh.
Hmm,
Didn't know about that.
that's interesting.
It's amazing because a lot of stuff is hidden in the manuals, especially the Japanese manuals, that makes you really wonder what happened. Like,
Yeah, but most likely it will never be explored in anything in any of the main game material.
hmm I'm just trying to do one more check if we could see. Uh, I'm getting nothing but ads for Metroid Dread. Not a bad thing, but not really the point.
Oh,
I need to play it at some point.
yeah.
Uh, mm, oh, we got a Tales side story. Do you want to talk about that while I do this?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're on to the Tails. So now let's go on to the Tails side story. All right. So we're back to part two of Zone Runner and the Flock. So Tails is facing nuts, nuts and bolts. I'm just saying the full pun. Nuts and bolts. And he's about to try to get at Tails, but a flash bomb is thrown. It's thrown by this sheep lady, who is part of something called the Flock. The Flock calls Tail a zone runner, someone who goes from different zones to help people. He takes them back to their. He explains that they used to just be peaceful and normal sheep before Robotnik came. Now they fight back from him, freedom fighter style. She gives Tails some equipment, basically a code in his door opener. Um, takes him back and tells him of Robotnik's plan to release the barrier from chemical zone and flood the other zones that would kill lots of people. Tails is very unsure of himself, but it says you can do it and we can stop it, Zone Runner. So yeah, um, the story is a good part two to it. We introduced to the flock this other group of basically freedom fighters that help to try to stop Robotnik. The Zone Runner idea is going to come back a lot. Tails is going to wear that coat a lot.
Hmm.
Also, the whole Zone Runner thing, just get out of the way. Yes, the reference to Blade Runner. That's what they were going for.
But
At least what it seems like.
we had the Blade Runner reference with Skate.
Yeah, but we got another one. He's wearing the coat for that Decker wear. Yeah.
I, I never seen Blade Runner. Is it good?
Also, the sheep thing, I just realized that the original book that Blade Runner came from was called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? I wonder, that the reason they're sheep?
The deepest reference.
Oh god, if it is, that is a deep cut reference. It just dawned on me.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it. Yeah, it's really hard to tell because it's not like we've seen sheep characters before in here. So
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen the sheep. And from we see from their backstory, they were just kind of normal fat sheep until it happened, and then they got their anthropomorphism. Um, Zone Runner is, I guess, that's what they call people that go around helping people from different zones. It's a weird term. They could just call it freedom fighter, but okay. Flock's interesting. Tails still has his whole like non-confidence in himself that he had in the that he has in his other adventures. Which again, he shouldn't. He is very confident. Also, I just noticed that I wonder if Tails is just gonna get a different outfit for each of his adventures because he got the night outfit in his Silent Zone adventures, and he got this outfit for his Zone Running adventures. If Tails ever gets another adventure, we'll be like, "Good job, Tails. Here's your cute little outfit that we got to give you for these particular adventures." I don't know. I find it really cute. The
no,
art,
no,
same with last.
I've noticed that too. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's like you got a new adventure, got to put on your new outfit. But yeah, art's pretty good. Tails looks pretty. Everyone looks pretty on model. The background looks pretty awesome. But yeah, it's a good part to the rest of the adventure. Do you have anything else to say?
uh,
Oh, you're still reading about the echidnas.
yeah, but as for the tail story, I don't really have. I mean, I appreciate the whole Blade Runner reference, but yeah, I really don't
Yeah.
got anything else to say.
Also, I know something. The logo that they give tails, one tail is white. One tail's the white on top with the orange at the bottom, like normal, but the other tail's flipped. I wonder why that is. Now, I just noticed that. I'm like, why?
Mhm. That's weird.
I don't know. Just something I noticed. I'm like, it's supposed to be Tails' main symbol for this comic. Don't I guess to break it up? But yeah, all right. Still looking for that echidna stuff.
Uh, Sonic 3 itself doesn't have anything on Knuckles. I guess that didn't come until Sonic and Knuckles, which wouldn't be relevant to bring up here because we're still in Sonic 3.
Oh,
But
now we're on Sonic and Knuckles. Next issue.
I guess. But hold on. So here's some points about Knuckles' entire character and his story, based off of the Japanese manual. Knuckles is the guardian of the Chaos Emeralds on the floating island. Um, Short-tempered and reckless, but he's a good, kind guy. He is gullible because he is pure and honest. He doesn't hate girls, but he seems very unused to them. That's weird. He can dig holes and climb walls with his special gloves. So the manual does say that does give up it does given the fact that he can dig. Even though
Okay.
this is probably although this is the first like visual time that we've ever seen it. His hobby is digging holes, of course. He is a mole after all. He is good at finding hidden routes. He can even fly for a little bit. Lights fruit, hates strong sunlight. That's more of a mole thing. The guardian of the floating island. That day, he was patrolling the altar of the island as usual. It was his mission to protect the seven Chaos Emeralds that control the power of the pillar that lies beneath the island, basically the Master Emerald. His name is Knuckles the Echidna. He is a spiny anteater echidna who is called Knuckles by his island friends, the animal buddies on there. Um, he was born and raised on this island, and all of his nature and animals on it were his friends. And the crystal pillar of the Chaos Emeralds is one that protects his friends. It happened without warning. As Knuckles was checking one of the Chaos Emeralds to see if there was anything wrong with it, the Chaos Emerald in front of him glistened and began to vibrate abnormally. Knuckles was puzzled by this unprecedented phenomenon. The Chaos Emerald began to vibrate more and more intensely, and just once it reached its peak, there was a flash of light, a screech, and Knuckles' memory was blacked out when he felt his body flow away. When Knuckles regained his consciousness, his body has been thrown outside the altar. And as he slowly woke up, he looked around and saw the half-destroyed altar of the Chaos Emeralds. Um, and Knuckles rushed to the altar. However, the Chaos Emeralds were gone, and there was not even a fragment of it left. So basically, what this is trying to say is that Sonic interfering the special stones or special stages, because of him in there, he pulled the Chaos Emeralds that were originally on the floating island.
Also, is that implying that Knuckles' memory loss is because of that? Because he
Maybe.
said he blocked out. So Knuckles' memory loss is because of Sonic.
Yep.
Dang, that's some deep lore.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. The Japanese manual tells a lot. But yeah, so what this is essentially saying, Knuckles, years before Sonic 1, or around the time of Sonic 1, he was visiting the Chaos Emeralds on the Angel Island until suddenly one day they just disappeared and the Ultra was destroyed. It turns out Sonic in the special stages, his activity in the special stages basically warped the Chaos Emeralds to him. And he's just been using them, and Knuckles has been wondering where they were for ever since. Uh,
And then if you go by the whole line, memory blacked out after. And if I imply what I'm implying from there, or maybe just like he got blacked out from it,
it's
it would be funny if Sonic was the reason Knuckles doesn't remember why he's there.
no, it says Knuckles' memory was blacked out, but it's the translation is looks like it's directly that's a direct translation. It looks like it just says but if you it's a direct translation when it says Knuckles' memory was blacked out. However, if you were to interpret localize it better, it says Knuckles blacked out.
Okay.
So he was just knocked
So
out.
it could either be, yeah, okay, it could just be knocked out.
So what happened was afterwards, much later, Knuckles walks out of the altar, stunned. Then, as he gazed helplessly in the distance, um, he noticed something eerie approaching around the lake. Knuckles felt a shiver run down his spine when he saw the huge, round, egg-shaped object. And according to an ancient legend based off of his off of his tribe, that big egg is the legendary dragon's egg. The egg must be the one that brings misfortune to the island, as depicted in the legend on the altar of the Chaos Emeralds. Basically, that mural of perfect chaos. He interpreted that as a dragon. Uh, Knuckles spent the next few days patrolling the altar of the Seven Emeralds, waiting for the return. Um, Still looking around the island, Knuckles meets an unfamiliar man in the forest. When the man introduced himself, calling himself Doctor Eggman, learned that Knuckles was the guardian of the Chaos Emeralds, he told him this: "I'm a scientist who came to investigate that egg. Um, if you are the guardian of the Chaos Emeralds, I must tell you this. The thing is, there's an evil hedgehog named Sonic who's been interfering with my research, and it seems he's after the Chaos Emeralds on the island." Knuckles says the Chaos Emeralds are being targeted. Knuckles began and thus began the manipulation of Doctor Eggman's clever lie.
Okay. So, that makes a little bit more sense since he saw the emeralds get pulled. and then he would assume that it was from Sonic. And then in the first game, he sees Sonic use the Chaos Emerald to turn to Supersonic. So Eggman's lie was confirmed.
Yep. So when yeah, especially when Sonic comes in as Supersonic on the island, Knuckles knocks the shit out of him, and then takes the emeralds and returns them back to their place.
Also, going back to the Diggy thing, you actually do see him doing it because in the opening he comes out from the ground, assuming that he digged there. So no, it was from the game. Also,
No,
if you
you're
count the whole like going through certain areas of Sonic can't as digging,
yeah, you're right. Um,
so it was depicted in the game. Also, if you count going through certain areas as him digging through them. Like sort of like that one scene in the beginning of Sonic and Knuckles where you're like a mushroom zone. You see this like huge these things over there, and you just walk through them. If you count that as a depiction of him digging, so yeah, it was depicted there. So if we go by that, so let's say I'm a British writer and I read that and I heard about the Green Emerald. All right, so that explains why the Chaos Emeralds are here, and why they had to do the whole two set things for the comic, and they heard about the whole Gray Emerald thing, so that's why they made it the main one.
yeah, and they keep referring in the
And it,
manual. They keep referring to the main secret of the island, the real treasure of the island. They keep calling it the pillar, quote unquote, because I guess they're trying to keep it a secret until Sonic and Knuckles. But what they're referring to is the Master Emerald.
hence the pillar of light that we see in the actual place in the comic.
Yep.
Oh, so that's a good way. So that's why they adapted it that way.
Yep.
Dang, there's a lot of deep lore stuff there going into that manual. I should take a read of the Japanese manuals.
Yeah. Sonic Retro has some pretty good ones. Has direct
Yeah, it
translations.
reminds me of that time where I heard Shadow say, "Sonic, like where you talked about how like Gerald Robotnik saw like this Miro a long time ago, and he says, "I think you're the ultimate life form."
Yep. That also
And
explains why Gerald he probably read the legends or interpreted the Angel Islands legends and stuff. That's why there's prototype weird chaos creatures around. Those are experiments from him trying to recreate the guardian of the Chaos Emeralds.
also how he went from big freaking lizard to hedgehog.
Yep. If you
God, it all really does. All these Sonic, all the old games to Adventure really do fit together. If you look at the manual stuff.
Yeah, and dude, even the Japanese manual point fixes a major plot hole that everyone has with Sonic Adventure 2, which is the reason why Sonic is blamed for Shadow's crimes is because the military didn't want the information about Project Shadow coming to light. How they were making a
Oh yeah,
military,
I knew about that one.
yeah,
But yeah, I knew about that one. From a website, from looking it up. But yeah, it really does fix a lot of stuff. but yeah, we should actually start talking about the actual comic. Look at this. But yeah, that was really cool to think to learn about.
yep.
Yeah. All right, let's transition into actually to talk about the comic book. Um,
Oh, actually, I sent you a text, but if while you read that, uh, do you want me to read the manual for Sonic and Knuckles since we're already heading into that area too?
yeah, I'm sure.
All right. So Sonic and Knuckles immediately picking up from Sonic 3. Sonic has crashed the Death Egg, Dr. Eggman's great fortress, which was about to launch from the launch base zone back into the ground. Sonic is thrown into the air, and the wind carries him into a forest deep into the floating island, where giant mushrooms are growing. From the air, Sonic can see that the Death Egg crashing into the island's volcano, but he was not yet relieved. It was only a matter of time before Dr. Eggman revived the Death Egg once again, which has not been completely destroyed. Just as Sonic was about to run towards the Death Egg, Knuckles appeared from the door hidden in the bushes and disappeared into the forest, cautiously watching the area. As he waited for Knuckles' presence to disappear, Sonic pressed a switch in front of the door, and a dazzling light flooded out from inside, which opened quickly. What Sonic saw when he looked into the door was a shining special ring called a super ring. What could this ring be? Sonic's curiosity got the better of him, and he touched the mysterious super ring. And at that moment, with a high pitched sound, Sonic was transported into an unfamiliar space. The space was a large hall that he had never seen before. There was not a speck of dust in the hall, but there was an altar with a solemn atmosphere. As Sonic looked up at the altar, he couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. In the center of the altar was a huge Chaos Emerald, essentially the Master Emerald. What on earth is this altar? What exactly is Knuckles doing here? The mystery behind the legendary floating island and Dr. Robotnik's conspiracy and the showdown with Sonic's biggest rival, Knuckles, has just begun.
Yeah, darn. That's a good intro to it.
Yep.
Mm.
That said,
So
oh, go ahead.
that's it. I was gonna say. So want to get into the comic, and since we're getting a little close to the 2 hour mark, you want to split this one up?
Yeah. Honestly, we've had so much to talk about, and we will have plenty more to talk about because, um, well, I mean, keep in mind that
No.
with Sonic 1 and 2, there's not a whole lot of story that goes on there. I mean, other than introduction to characters and stuff like that, and we might come back to those eventually. But the Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles sets up so much things that are so prevalent later in the series and later in this comic series that they could just go on to discussions forever. And because of that, I think it would probably be a good idea to split this podcast into two parts. Um, Afterwards, we will go back to our regular 8 issues, but we will try to immediately follow up this with a part two. That said, I'm Anthony, and I've been here with my good co host, Tom, and we'll see you around.
All right. Bye.